How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel, you beautiful, wonderful people. We're going to be checking out the Battle of Maastricht, 1940, the German invasion of South Limburg. The original channel is History Hustle. Links down below for that. It says, during the German invasion of the Netherlands, the city of Maastricht, located in the southern province of Limburg, was to be taken by the German armies. Dutch defenders had to blow up the bridges crossing the Meuse River that divided the city. The Germans wanted to get the bridges in hands undamaged. Would the Dutch be able to blow up the bridges and delay the German advance? History Hustle presents the Battle of Maastricht, 1940, the German invasion of South Limburg, a forgotten World War II battle watched by an American, watched by you. Thanks for watching. Let's watch this together.
During the German invasion of the Netherlands, there was also fighting in the very south for the city of Maastricht, which happened on May 10th, 1940. The Germans came from there, and the Dutch had to blow up the bridges in order to delay the German advance.
Right.
Did they succeed in this? That's what you're going to find out in this video. We're going to talk about the forgotten World War II battle, the Battle of Maastricht.
The Battle of Maastricht.
The Netherlands mobilized the end of August 1939. On one hand, it was believed the Netherlands would remain its neutrality just as it had done during the First World War, but others believed the Netherlands would not be so lucky this time. A German attack seemed possible. And what then? Well, for that, several lines of defense were created. The main defensive line was the Grebbe line. The men stationed here had to hold the Germans at any cost. More to the east, there was the IJssel line. Men had to delay the enemy by blowing up the bridges in time. South, there's the Meuse River, and that's where the Meuse line was located with the same goal. Delay the enemy as much as possible and then retreat. Now look at this map. Maastricht is here,
It's right on the
located in
river.
the south of the Limburg province. It wasn't really seen as a place that could be defended. However, its garrison could play a role in the delay of German troops by blowing up the Meuse bridges in the city. See, Maastricht is built on both sides of the Meuse River. Its bridges, the Wilhelmina Bridge and the Sint-Servaas Bridge and the railway bridge, had to be destroyed once the Germans attacked the city. For the Germans, the south of Limburg province, and thus Maastricht, was on the route of their advance through Belgium. Right across the border, there was the Belgian fort of Eben Emael.
Okay, so they weren't even trying to go to Maastricht, really. They're just Maastricht's on the way. So they're coming from here. They're traveling to Belgium. They just happen to go through that little bit of the Netherlands that decides to swing down around Maastricht. Okay.
Border, there was the Belgian fort of Eben Emael.
I want to see the fort. They don't leave it on the screen long enough for us, do they, guys? All right, so we have sectors de terre cannon. So it's the sectors, something, cannons. And then there's a canal. So this is like a fortified wall, I guess, around. Okay.
Eben Emael, where the Germans made a daring glider attack. In order to relieve these troops, the Germans had to cross the Meuse in the south of Limburg fast. Let's take a look what happened here at Maastricht. And let's take a look what happened on May 9th, 1940, the evening before the German invasion took.
So this must be what's left of one of the bridges. You can see like right on the other side, there's like a little flag thing. There's a memorial that they build up on the other side, but you can see the platform where this would have connected.
Place. The Germans, they sent several patrols to defuse the demolition charges underneath the bridges. They also did that further up north at the IJssellinie. 3 different patrols were sent to the city of Maastricht. 2 were intercepted. 1 made it to the city. They arrived here too early. It was in the middle of the night, and they were kind of nervous. So in order to dull the senses, they went for a drink, and Maastricht is a good place to go for a drink, I can tell you that. But a drink became many drinks, and when it was time to act at 3:30 in the morning, these guys were all hammered. 2 of them made it out of the cafe and wanted to carry out their mission. But they were spotted by civilians who thought they behaved rather suspicious. They called the authorities. Soldiers came at the scene, and one of the two tried to grab his pistol and was shot on the spot. The Germans were not going to cross the Meuse River that easy. At several crossings of the Meuse at Stein, Urmond, Berg, Obicht, Roosteren and Gennep, the Germans conquered the bridges and overtook the Dutch casemates. One German officer was impressed by the Dutch fighting spirit. He wrote, "The Dutch soldier offered courageous and stubborn resistance. Only after heavy shelling and after the use of bundles of hand grenades tied together could the soldiers be forced to leave the concrete fortifications built on the ground, the casemates. Often enough we have found dead people in there who had suffered very serious injuries. Only then, bleeding from many wounds, often the last man of the garrison waved a white flag, a dirty rag that was slowly raised." The Dutch lacked proper communication. As a result of this, units stationed at other sections of the Meuse were not aware of the hopelessness of their situation and therefore fought on. As the Germans advanced towards Maastricht, they found a total of 750 Dutch men opposite them in the city. Of these, 200 were stationed in the Belgian border area, 300 on the eastern edges of the city, 100 in a semicircle around the center, and one company, 150 men, at the bridges. The armament of the Dutch consisted largely of hand weapons. They had only 2 anti-tank guns. Fierce fighting took place north of Maastricht at the city of Borgharen. Estimations of German
Borgheim? Is that what he said?
north of Maastricht at the city of Borgharen.
Borgheim.
Estimations of German casualties vary from dozens to over 100. Eventually the Germans got the upper hand and they managed to cross the bridges north of Maastricht. From the north and the east, the Germans advanced towards the city. Their panzers crossed the narrow streets of Wiek on the east side of Maastricht. The Dutch defenders at the east side of Maastricht, they fought the best they could. They fired with their anti-tank rifles at the incoming German panzers, knocking out several of them. The Germans needed more machine gun fire in order to drive the defenders away. One Dutch soldier wrote about his experiences the following. About halfway through the battle, enlisted soldier Pluchet's left anti-tank gun was hit. His helmet flew off. The beam above his weapon fell and the splinters flew off. Our sandbags were also hit. They emptied. I've made another stack. I also tried to fire the machine gun, but it had failed. The armored cars fired grenades and tracer ammunition from machine guns. I saw a bullet flash right past enlisted soldier Rietveld's face. At the last moment, the enemy infantry advanced along the walls and houses. As time progressed, the Germans saw their chances to gain the bridges intact diminish. At 600 hours, the Saint-Servaas bridge was blown up. 15 minutes later, also the Wilhelmina bridge was blown up. There was a railway bridge that was still in one piece. The defenders were approached by men in Dutch police trooper uniforms who started to fire at them. This firefight drew the attention of the defenders on the west side of the Meuse River, who delivered supporting fire. As the east side defenders retreated across the bridge, the Germans were hot on their heels. As the last defender crossed the railway bridge and the Germans were storming across it, the bridge was blown up.
Blew it up.
The Dutch defenders tried to hold off the German attackers the best they could. At the south of the city, they fired with their machine guns at a German recon, knocking out several vehicles. And even at the destroyed bridges, the Dutch kept firing at the German attackers. At some point, the Germans placed an anti-tank gun at one of the destroyed bridges.
So that's the bridge. So it's showing like the bridge being destroyed. Where, yeah, right here. This platform here on the right, or maybe it's the platform there, that is actually right behind him. That's this. I'm almost positive that's the old bridge. They just build up a new bridge beside of it.
At one of the destroyed bridges. This anti-tank gun was knocked out of action and its crew was killed. A second German try gave similar results. Also, the Germans tried to cross the Meuse River by several rubber boats. Some of them were also hit and sunk. The heaviest fighting took place further north at the railway bridge between the retreating Dutch defenders and the German attackers. 2 German armored cars were immobilized and so was a light tank. Dutch Lieutenant Colonel Govers, territorial commander of Limburg, had a meeting with his colleagues at 7 hours in the morning. They realized that the Germans had made crossings elsewhere and that it was only a matter of time before the city of Maastricht would be surrounded. He decided that the ancient city with all its cultural heritage should suffer no more than necessary.
Right.
And he went to the Germans at the destroyed Wilhelmina Brug under a white flag. At 9 hours.
That was right there. It's just so cool to see like old historical footage and then see what it is now. You know what I mean? Even though I'm not the one that's physically standing there like this guy is. It's just so cool to see that he is right there. I mean, you can just see
under a white flag. At 9.
Oh yeah, I didn't go back enough. But regardless, there was a soldier standing right beside this big round thing. I'm pretty sure, like right in this area. It was cool.
9 hours 30, the Dutch forces inside Maastricht and its surroundings laid down their weapons and surrendered. With that, the Battle of Maastricht was over. The Battle of Zuid-Limburg demanded the lives of 47 Dutch soldiers. It is not known how many Dutch civilians perished during the fighting. 130 to 190 German soldiers died during the battle. And according to historian Brongers, the Dutch actions here led to delayment in the Belgian surrender at the fort of Eben Emael. Now, in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it would make much of a difference. Maastricht would have fallen in enemy hands no matter what. Now, the Battle of Maastricht is actually kind of a footnote in history. Heck, the German invasion of the Netherlands.
I mean, there's a lot going on in World War II. A lot. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's just a footnote. I mean, really, it just seems like the main things are what's talked about. And, of course, you're going to have so many little battles like this. So many. That's not really discussed properly. Of course, the locals, the people in the areas, of course, people in Maastricht, probably know about it for sure. The older generation more so, I would assume, than the younger, but yeah.
It's actually kind of a footnote in history. Heck, the German invasion of the Netherlands is a footnote in history, which makes this battle a footnote of a footnote. But you know, I wanted to cover it regardless. Hope you enjoyed. If you want to learn about other battles during the German invasion of the Netherlands, click right here. I want to thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. And groetjes uit Maastricht.
All right. I'm already subscribed to History Hustle. You guys should go check it out because it is an amazing channel. I've done some reactions to his videos before. And Isa, one of my supporters, lives in Maastricht. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to find a video about Maastricht. So shout out to you, Isa. Shout out to you. Anybody else that lives in Maastricht as well. Thanks for watching with me, guys. You guys have a super fun, awesome day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye.